Today we're visiting Grosmont Castle.
Grosmont Castle completes the Three Castles trilogy, the other two being Skenfrith and White Castle. The three castles were built around the same time, probably sometime in the 11th century, and were possibly established by the Norman William Fitz-Usborne, the first Earl of Hereford.
Grosmont Castle started life as a motte and bailey.
The birth of the castle also spawned the origins of the village of Grosmont, which started life as a borough that grew up around the castle.
A borough is generally defined as a walled town that governs itself.
In the 14th century, the castle's interior was modernised to contain luxury apartments. It also had a deer park.
By the mid-16th century, Grosmont Castle had fallen into disuse and then into ruin. It was placed into the care of the state in 1922 and is now a Grade 1 listed building managed by Cadw.
Grosmont Castle is, of course, the third in our visits to the three castles, the first two being Skenfrith and White Castle. And you can't have a three castles walk, of which this is one, without having three castles, and because of the fact that there are three castles, this being the third of them from our point of view, then you can have a three castles walk. It sits in a nice little village in a beautiful bit of countryside. There isn't a main road nearby, so it's very peaceful. It's another one of these Norman castles, which tends to mean that it's quite a romantic ruin that you're left with, which is a good thing to my mind. It's none of this just sort of bog standard motte and bailey, which is just a bit of a lump of earth in the middle of a field kind of thing. No, this is a proper stone thing, and there's quite a lot of it remaining.
There is something quite romantic about the ruins of Grosmont. There are bits that are better preserved than others. It's all falling apart in the right places, and there's ivy on the outside. When you walk in through the entranceway, you just kind of feel instantly peaceful. Very strange. Very nice.
It is, of course, very pleasing that you can come up to the top and have a look down from above. That's something you can't do in every castle we visit, but this one you can. It's not a huge stretch of wall, but it doesn't need to be, because it gives you a rather nice view of the village and a rather nice view of the inside of the castle.
You can see that chimney there. It's a beautiful little piece of work, and it shows just how luxurious the accommodations here must have been. It dates from the 14th century when the castle was made more lavish.
So essentially what you've got here is a castle that consists really of a main courtyard, a couple of smaller chambers off it, a couple of towers, a rather ornate and somewhat inexplicable chimney, and a very deep moat, which as a defensible structure is fantastic. It really would have worked very well, which is probably why the castle never appears to have been properly breached. As a place to come and visit, it's even better. There's a fair amount of it still intact, but there's enough of it gone to make it that sort of romantic ruin that we really do thoroughly enjoy.
So I'm standing in one of the defensive towers, and at the bottom you can see an archer's slot, and unlike White Castle, it doesn't have those dinks in, which are apparently quite dangerous for the archer. It's just got a straight down slit.
One of the nice things about castles is that it gives us the opportunity to learn a little bit about the history of the country that we live in. We don't have an enormous amount of information about any of the places that we visit, but there are little snippets of important historical dates and what happened, and all from the point of view of the victor, of course. But visiting these places is a way of finding those little snippets of information out that we would otherwise not know. And that is one of the things that appeals greatly to me about these places, other than the fact that they're very, very beautiful. We are constantly looking for the thing that catches your eye, that appealing scene, and castles offer that in spades. There's just loads of things that you can look at and go, ooh, that's really nice.
This section here was the first bit to be built in stone by Hubert de Burgh. The rest of it would have been all timber. There was the Great Hall above us, along with Hubert de Burgh's rooms, and there is another fireplace. And you can still see right up the flue, although the chimney itself has fallen apart. Apparently there was also a spiral staircase in this room, but I can't see much of that left now. There's a big hole down there with a slightly smaller hole in the bottom, and I'm not entirely sure what it's for. If you know what it is, let me know down in the comments, please.
That's not how it works.
It is now. That's how it works now. That's actually really comfortable. I love how many look-through points there are here. You can always look through one part of the castle to the other because of the way that the windows have crumbled, and because of these jagged edges it just frames everything really nicely, and you get to see lots of different perspectives on the same place. I approve anyway. So what did you think?
Well, I rather like it. I like a bit of peace and quiet, which this castle has in spades. A little bit of the old sort of fally downy bit with quite a lot of it left is always also rather pleasing to the eye, I think. And there's little bits that you think, oh, that's a fascinating thing. There's a rather ornate chimney which is rather appealing because it just completely sticks out like a sore thumb.
It really does. All the rest of it is really raggedy and jagged and kind of rugged. And then you've got that nice little dainty bit perched on top.
Yeah.
It just had no business being there.
No, it's a bit strange, isn't it? And of course you can climb up on the walls and have a look down, which is always a good thing, and you've got a good view from up there, and yeah, so it's got a lot going for it, I think. What do you think?
I quite like the fact that the minute you step in to this nice space, you just immediately feel relaxed, and I think it's because the sounds are more muted. When you think of a ruin, this is it.
It does tick all the boxes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a proper
For ruin.
Yeah. I mean, it was supposedly a luxurious place once, but now it's just quite a nice place to...
Now there's a bit of a draft.
It's just a nice place to be.
It is. It's lovely. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can do the Three Castles walk, which is slightly more adventurous than we're going to be today.
Well, we've done the Three Castles without the walking.
Yeah. One of these days we're going to do the walk. That is, I think, a film in itself. That is, I think, definitely it from us here at Grosmont Castle. And, of course, you will be seeing us next week when we will be doing another one of these.
We shall. See you next time.
TTFN!